All right, I think it's about time. Hey again, it's me, James Kuo. I hope you have had a good holiday time, and thanks for uh, tuning in to watch my stream. We're going to do a little more watercoloring today. I think that's been like a really fun change in the stream. For like the first 24 streams, it was like all black and white ink drawing, which I love, and I feel pretty confident in. So it's been a challenge for me to kind of switch to do these painting streams, which I'm new at. So it's a little bit like the classic film The Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy is swept up in the tornado, lands on the Wicked Witch's sister, and up until then the film has been black and white, and then she opens the door and the world's in color. So that's kind of like where we are now. I don't want to forget about black and white drawing because it's really enjoyable for me. So that would be like Dorothy lands in Oz, she opens the door and the world's in color. She just quietly closes the door again and says, no, thank you. With that, let's go to the drawing board and let's see what we're up to. Okay, this is clearly not a swan. I just brought this out as an example of some of the practice I've been doing. I painted this as a gift for my special person. There's just like a strong reflection glare right there. Let's see if I can get rid of that. Okay. So I'm pretty proud of how I did these feathers. So I'm going to try to achieve that again. If there's a minus on here, I think everything's like a little too separate. Like I don't get the sense that the same light that's hitting the goose is hitting the grass, is hitting the water, which I think was very successful in the tiger. Like here, things seem more involved with each other. Even though I did this one earlier, so it might have just been like beginner's luck. But, you know, I don't want to have a successful painting due to luck. I'm trying to get so I can do things on purpose. These are my brushes. This is just my stream snack for later. But right now it's just decoration for my table before I've painted anything. Oh, oh, Galuigi's in the chat. Nice to see you. I really enjoyed your most recent stream. It was fun to like see the whole repertoire. Like we saw Phantom, we heard your new Grease medley, we heard In the Heights. It's really great how positively people react to those. Like everyone's really delighted to hear it, myself included. Put this away for now. I think I should just get moving. So here's our reference. This is a photo that I took myself. I feel better about that than just finding like a random internet photo, because in that case, I wouldn't be crediting the photographer, but in this case, the photographer is moi. So cute and kind of great for this like dark part of winter before the new year begins, just thinking about spring and summer and these little cygnets hatching. And this was like such a funny scene because I don't know if you can see it. Like the parent swan, I don't know which one, is like feeding these little cygnets. And so they're at this, there's a big lake in the big city park here where they live. And it was going to the bank and it was like pulling weeds out of the ground and then like dropping them near the cygnets, or in this case, it kept just sort of like dropping them on the heads. Cygnet is a baby swan. It's true. I should define the terms before we get into it. Cygnet is a swan. All right. And so it was like pulling out these weeds and it would just like drop them on top of the little swans. Like you can see the one in the sort of top middle has just like a pile of plant life on it. And it was just extremely funny. Like, if you've spent time with children, I don't know how difficult it is to feed them, but just like dropping the food directly on their head might not be the best way to get it into them. But, you know, this swan could be a first-time parent, and they're probably trying their best. All right, so that's enough of an intro. Let me just get this out of the way. Yeah, so maybe at the end of the stream, this is what this is my painting area. So I think I just subconsciously put this picture down where I want it to be. So let me just put this back up in the reference section. I'm going to shrink this down. Okay. And let me make sure I can see it. The difficult part on this that I can already tell is that a swan is mostly white. So mostly I'll have to concentrate on not painting the swan. I'll have to paint everything else around it and leave the swan white. Okay, so I'm just got to figure out where to put this. Okay. Okay, so here's my drawing area. I think stage one, I feel like if I were very good at this, I could just go right into painting, but I think I find it helpful to just like use a pencil and kind of divide areas that you know you want to color differently. Okay, so definitely a lot of plant life down here. It looks like I see a bunch of ripples on the water, and it makes sense that they're kind of like radiating out from like this oval is sort of like where I'm trying to figure out that the swan is making contact with the water, right? And so it seems like the ripples would just be a bunch of ellipses coming off of here. I don't know if I'm getting that curved quite right, but I'm doing my best. Before I started the stream, I wonder how long I can keep saying, you know, I'm pretty new at watercolors, so please be forgiving. It's sort of like when you start a new job and you can say, you know, well, it's my first day. But I think eventually it does make sense to show some competence. Hey, Sparkle's in the chat. Nice to see you. But, I mean, you know, how long will it be before I can say that I'm good at watercolors? It seems like it might be a lifelong pursuit. Like on this topic, I was looking up a quote that I kind of half remembered from probably like the most famous printmaker in Japan, Hokusai. And he was saying, like, many of you maybe heard this quote before, but he was saying, until the age of 70, nothing I drew was worthy of notice. When I reach 80 years, I hope to have made increasing progress, and at 90, to see further into the underlying principles of things, so that at 100 years, I will have achieved a divine state in my art, and at 110, every dot and every stroke will be as though alive. So the hope is that I'll keep doing these streams, I'll keep getting better, and then I can just like keep accelerating until I achieve like escape velocity from this life many decades from now, not anytime soon. I'm not near 110 yet. Okay, so let's see. I'm just kind of shapes in. I'm also a little wary of waiting to 60 to do anything worthwhile, because that is also a way off. So I'll try to hit the mark a little bit before then. And the beak comes down like this. So I feel like a lot of this area is going to just be off limits. Okay, so, you know, I feel like that swan is too big. I'm going to adjust this while I still can. Oh, you watched an anime movie that was about his daughter. That sounds familiar. Was it a good watch? Should we suggest Mickey watch that in Anime Club? Oh, speaking of Mickey, it was really wonderful to be nominated in the Babby Awards that she threw a couple days ago. Like, I was kind of bowled over to see myself come up in the most benevolent streamer. Like I'm just in here streaming, and I don't know how the benevolence got in there. It was very fun to be in the same category as Gal for most soothing vocal stylings. Although have I haven't yet rapped or sung on this stream. Oh, congrats to yourself as well, and also on your wins. Didn't you win seemingly most beloved? The qualification is so funny. Oh, I was looking in your Discord, and is Teenage Mary the same person as Zoetrope? Because they were saying it was their birthday. And they're also a regular in my stream chat, so if Teenage Mary and Zoetrope are the same person, and Zoetrope shows up today, it's possible I could sing them happy birthday. But if any of those statements are not true, they are the same person, great. So, we could all sing to them if they show up. We'll see. They're often here, but we can only await their kind presence. Got a little Cygnet there. Another little Cygnet here. I need to get paint to paper pretty soon. Usually I spend the whole on an ink drawing, I'll spend the whole first hour penciling, but I feel like for this I can really cut that down because I'm just dividing the area more than anything. And then there's kind of the back of one right here. I think that's enough to get started. Never sure how much pencil lines show up on camera, but I'm looking at my Streamlabs. I think I shouldn't call it OBS anymore because there was some conflict about that. I'm looking at my Streamlabs and I think I can kind of see it. But let's get some paint down. So I've got this brush, and I'm just going to kind of wet all this area that I'm going to work on. And I think it'll work for me if I don't put water into the swan, so that way the pigment won't bleed into there. That is my plan. Yeah, I haven't streamed for about a week because I was kind of in the family zone, and so now I've got this day mostly to myself. So I did want to be back on here and let you guys know that I'm still around, and it's nice for people to come back. I'm just wetting this area. I think it's going to be a little challenging because the water is the darkest part. Up on the top left of the picture, there's those are where up here, those are going to be the darkest areas. And I haven't really yet done it where the ground is darker than the figure. So for me, this is kind of an interesting kind of tonal challenge, getting all the dark and light areas to work. Also, getting enough intense colors, like these greens are pretty saturated. And I feel like in the stuff that I've done so far, I've been my colors are pretty desaturated. So I just need to really be willing to get some color in there. Okay. And I think the darker I make this and the more colorful I make this, the more the white swan will stand out by contrast. That is my hope. Family zone is good. It's always complicated, but I would much rather have a family than not. So I think it's often rewarding, but you know, always has its difficulties. Let's see. All right, so let's see. I've got my palette. Actually, I've got two palettes, guys. Like I've been using this one. Okay, yeah, I think the brightness is adjusting. But I also found this other one, which had been loaded from like years ago. So I'm just kind of scanning that past the camera. And it's nice, like, I did do a bunch of practice. And so then your mixing trays end up with like a lot of colors that are useful. Okay. I think I'm still just putting off the day when I get some paint onto here. Okay. So what kind of blue is this? Like this top part's not even very blue. It's just like almost black. Okay. Well, here we go. I do need a test sheet. One more pause before the color goes on. Do I have paper? Do I own a single sheet of paper? Let me see. Okay. Where did my other brush go? That's over here. Am I using the right one? This one is fine. So yeah, that's good. Okay. So I think I'm just going to make these strokes kind of like following these guidelines of where I put these ripples. So kind of always like curving down to the right. And it's good that the paper is so wet because the color is really traveling outside of where I'm even making the brush stroke. So far, no ink today. I think probably no ink today. So I should show you this slide. We're just doing color. There we go. I can probably get a little more intense than that. So let's see what happens. Don't know that I love that blue. I can always like pull it back a little bit up to a point. Like I can't always get away with that. So something about that blue I would like to be different. I think, let me see what I'm mixing over here. Do I need it to be a little greener? It's not that green. It's just, might be more like the cerulean and less like this phthalo. I mean, that's all right. I mean, the color is not going to be exactly the same as in the photo. And that is just fine. I personally would rather look at a painting or a drawing than look at a photo. I got it. Let's see. Where are the lighter parts? There's kind of like a shape that goes up here. And then the bluer parts are like here. I feel like I could like wet this again. I wonder, this is going to be an experiment. If I have like a wet brush and I go over that, what's going to happen? Will this all just smear together? Oh yeah, did you see that? When emotes happen, they kind of bounce around the face cam area. Like if anyone wants to do another emote, we could see that in action. Oh, wasn't PSB, Pichu Slapping Butt, like another Babby winner? Like when I added that I don't know if it's an extension or a widget or what the terminology is. At first I had it over the whole screen, but it was just way too distracting. So right now I just have it restricted to the Basecamp area. Oh, and didn't like it was a good uh it was like a good night for yourself and your sister, because didn't Yikes also win for Supplet for best new term? Hopefully, if they show up, we can supplet them. Oh, I think the other term that won maybe was a fairly risque term that Mickey was worried about getting TOS'd about it. I did watch the whole VOD. Yeah, I think I was watching the night of, but then some stuff came up, and so I had to like check it out later. So I'm wondering even how much blue I should do over here. I'll do some, because most of this is going to go pretty dark. I feel like I want to work on this plant life down here. Let's see. Like the water's okay for now. It definitely needs a few more passes, but I'm learning to do this in layers and not try to do it all at once. I even want to like... This is just, my brush is just like soaked in water, so I'm kind of just blending these in a little bit. Some of the edges of those brush strokes looked like a little too sharp for me. Okay, let's work on this part of the picture. It's gonna get this lamp in a place that doesn't give too much glare, but lights up the whole image. That looks pretty glaring. That's okay. Sparkle, I have not seen that site. Do you want to share with us what animals you came up with? Okay, so let me see. I'm trying to think. Like these leaves look pretty circular. They have stems, which makes sense. And then there's like a shadowy part underneath. So how do I approach this? I should probably do like a lighter green. So let me just grab that. And I'll try to paint in all the leaves that are kind of closer to us and lighter in color, and then I can add darker stuff later. Just do a little test. That's a little... I just need to get some more color in here. That's basically a sap green, so I should really like mix. Oh, yours is swan, perfect. I feel like aren't there lots of good swans in our like kind of stream and Discord community? Like there's Wonder Swan with 2 A's. I should shout them out right now. And then who's the other swan? Swan Parade. Ah, Xenogears. Wonderful game. Okay. So, I just got to get in here. Okay. So I should just put in a bunch of these leaf shapes. I think I'm kind of trying to do this, yeah, sort of like front to back, like all the stuff that's like closer to us. Just because like watercolors are translucent, Like if it were an opaque medium, I could do the stuff. It would make sense to do the stuff in back and then work to the front, but I'm really kind of figuring this out as I go, and we'll see. Kind of wonder, like I separated these, but should I have put some hints of this blue water under here? I feel like not. I feel like not, even though like there's not total coverage of leaf. Like you can peek through and see some like bluish water like down here, but I think I can fill that in later. Oh, Sparkle is saying that Lala posted this website a while ago and you became a little obsessed with it. I feel like following the link that Lala left and then becoming obsessed counts as being nice to Lala, as Ghost Melanie is always imploring us to do. Yeah, I think I'm being like a little too slow with these leaves. I'm never gonna like get the exact placement of every leaf in there, so I'm just gonna like look at them, get a sense for kind of the pattern of how they grow, and just kind of do a bunch of my own leaves in a way that looks good. Hmm. I feel like it would be a mistake to make these too evenly spaced, so I need to like cluster them up a little bit. Okay. Maybe that's a good first pass. I feel like just trying to make a plan for all the elements, because there's also these, I'm not sure what to call those, not like branches exactly, but like dried reeds or stems that are sort of like bending over this bottom part that go in front of these swans, but maybe, perhaps I should save that to later. Might go for another pass at this water. So even while I've got like the green from the leaves on my brush, I'm just going to mix that in with the blue that I was using. I think when I started the stream, I was saying I wanted to like incorporate the colors more. So even like it would make sense if the light from here was bouncing off of the water and like vice versa. Yeah, I think if I can like stack up a few different blues on here, it'll make the water look a little more complicated or natural, like it might be in real life. It's a little, oh, there's kind of a complicated pattern because like the main ripples are coming off of the largest swan, but sort of like around this area, like the cygnets are also like the centers of rippling activity. So there's kind of an overlapping uh, transverse wave. So these can kind of almost make kind of like curved X's out here. I feel like a lot of this area is kind of a greenish darker gray because I feel like that darkness, I'm now that I've looked at it for stream's been going for 35 minutes. Now that I've looked at it for 32 minutes, because I wait 3 minutes at the intro screen, it does appear that the dark part is like a reflection of a large tree, which I think we saw back in the tiger painting. Like that explains what these are. Turn that so you can see it. So I think we're kind of in the same territory. Let me try to address that. So I can get like a little more, pick up some more green, pick up some of this like Payne's gray. I think this is going to be my main darkening agent since right now I don't plan on using any ink. Okay, let's see what happens when we use that. I think this is a step in the right direction. It definitely will need more layers than that. I need to really get in here and add some more of this gray. Let me see. And then that tree reflection kind of goes under the neck here. It's nice because it kind of wraps all the way around the swan's head. So it'll kind of like frame it or offset it. And also that bright orange beak is a good sort of contrasting. Yeah, because it's not complementary because green and red would be across the color wheel, but it is, it's definitely over on the other side. Okay, let me see. In reverse order of your question, I'm responding to Sparkle, asking about my, I don't really know what a sun sign is, but my Chinese zodiac is, it's this guy, monkey, 猴子. And knowing that, you can figure out potentially what my birth year might be. Like, was I born in 2016? Because it's 12 years apart, and it's kind of like, can I say them all in order? Like, in Mandarin? Well, first I would have to think of what the order is, because isn't the legend that it was like a race? And so, like the horse almost won, but then I don't remember the whole story. But no, I don't think I'm going to pass this challenge. But um, if you would like to uh, give us the answer, I would love to see it in chat. So yeah, like when you ask someone's like Chinese like zodiac animal, it's kind of a polite way to find out their age. So potentially, I was born in 2016, 2004, 1992, 1980, or 1968. And I think I'm going to make a little. I just love making polls, even though, I mean, there's not a ton of people here. So let's see how we do here. New poll. We're just going to do that for 1 minute. Okay, so polls created. Oh my god, Gal. Wonderful job with your zodiac order. Junya. So that's rat, like ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon. Is that what is sh? Then there's horse, sheep, monkey, chicken. The final one is pig. I'm losing what the second to last one is. Okay, let me see how the poll is going. Okay, well, it looks like people are divided between 80 and 92. We got 2 for 80, 3 for 92. So 1992 won, but the correct year is 1980. And you can do the math on how old that makes me today. Oh, show snake and oh, of course. Oh, go is dog. Yeah, that. Oh, well. I mean, I look the way that I look. Uh, we can take a better look at me. So that's just how I'm doing these days. Let's see. But I appreciate you saying that I look like a 1992 baby. So I think, as far as what generation I am, I think I'm like, I don't know, I think I'm too old to be a millennial. Like I'm like the very youngest of Generation X, or like the oldest millennial, kind of right on the cusp there. Like there's, I think people are saying Xennial, or Generation Oregon Trail, or Generation Catalano, referring to Jared Leto's role on My So-Called Life, who was a big heartthrob back then. Let's see, I think I should stick with this kind of dark green that I have. And I'm going to do some of these like leaf shadows down here. So sort of underneath or between these leaves I've done, I'm going to put some darker shadowy parts. It would be amazing if I was born in 2016 and I was just like a, wait, if I were like a 5-year-old wunderkind, like Twitch streamer. Okay, so that's good. I'm actually happy I'm getting some like darker tones in here because I don't want to be like too tentative. And like I know I'm supposed to do it in layers, but I would like to finish this painting at some point uh, before this calendar year is over. I don't have a strict time limit on this stream. I know in the past sometimes I've said like 1 hour watercolor spectacular, and then or like I've had like a firm commitment that I have to jump off stream for at a certain time. But right now I think it's pretty open. I have noticed that as I approach 3 hours, I kind of run out of the ability to stream. So I can't be too lackadaisical. All right, Sparkle, I am ready for your guess. Do you need any hints, or are you going to go off of um, your own sense for now? I think I need to get I think for some of these stems, I need like a little bit of a warmer gray in here. Oh, it's really funny how brushes can like really maintain their shape. Like when I was mushing it around in the palette, it sort of got flattened out like that. You can see it if I turn it sideways. So I was just like looking at my brush, looking for the narrowest angle. So I was just trying to do these really narrow stems by kind of holding it almost vertically. I can't just make them all at that same angle. Let me just make this a little more natural. And then some of these like go up. So Sparkle's guess so far is Libra or Cancer, and I am neither Libra nor Cancer. I'm not super schooled on what those mean. Or like what traits those might be linked to that you're perceiving. But I can, so since the sans hint didn't go, I guess the hint that I'll give is it's, my birthday is sometime during what we would call summer. And this is actually working out well. Like I'm using the stem color to also paint in the sort of grayish brown the cygnets are. That would make sense because it would make sense for them to blend in. I am a Leo. Yes, Sparkle, you got it. August 22nd, which I think is the very last day. Like it would make sense for the cygnets to be the same color as the weeds for them to blend in for natural defense. I think trying to keep I'm trying to keep the paint like in the middle of them, to show like how the light comes down and they're covered in these downy feathers, and if it's on the edge, it can go through, but if it's sort of on the center of mass of the cygnet, um, it's more, I don't know, it's darker. I think my art vocabulary isn't up to the task right at the moment. Maybe uh, I'll figure out how to articulate that later, but I think you might understand me. And I can use this also because right now there's like zero paint on the swan, but I can use a little bit of this on the very darkest parts, apart from the mask of the swan. But maybe I shouldn't, because I feel like I'm just trying to like look closely at what the swan shadows are like. Those are more like a yellowish gray, and then underneath near the water, or like across here, that's more like a bluish color. Hmm. So right, yeah, I'm trying to be like more bold with my colors down here, but because I have to stay subtle with this part. Okay. I think it might be kind of nice for everyone who's watching the stream. I'm my primal astrology animal is a ferret. Oh my god. Like a tube animal? Like um I mean for years in Providence we would go shopping at a certain supermarket which was bought by I guess the same company that owns Twitch. We haven't been there since then, but there was like a pet store like two uh places down in the plaza, and they had ferrets, and we would always go and like look at them, among also the other animals. But they were very like funny. I don't think I would want to own one, but I think once a week or once every other week, going in to look at them through the glass and seeing them fall asleep with their head in the food bowl was very cute. But I don't know that I understand them as a creature. Uh, like when you have them in your house, are they friends with you? Like are they sociable? Do they like pair bond with humans? I don't know the answer. Like right now, I do not have any pets. My sister has a wonderful dog who is a Skipperkey, who I hope to see again soon. Um, like over this winter holiday, I was like pet sitting for friends of mine who have a turtle, who is very handsome to gaze upon, but I don't know how much like holding happens or whether they sit on your lap while you watch a movie or if you spoon them as you're falling asleep. I feel like they kind of are kind of on their own wavelength, and you might just have to gaze at them admiringly, but never make the connection that I might hope for. No, I think I've mostly just got Payne's Gray on the brush, and I'm just like kind of darkening this tree shadow because there's definitely like a lot of dark area on here that I need to bring down. Well, I think having five of any kind of animal, I would worry about being outnumbered, whether it was dogs or cats or ferrets for that matter. Like I'm not sure what the proper ratio is, but I don't know that I would want more than 2 animals per person. Oh, Sparkle is saying, I know, right? Their enclosure was enormous. I think I wasn't even expecting them to have an enclosure. That when I was picturing 5 ferrets, I assumed that they would just have full run of the house. Or like, even with that many ferrets, like there would be a household meeting, and the ferrets would take a vote that they were in charge now, and maybe you, the human, go in the enclosure. Yeah, so I think my concern about like human to pet ratio is really just about like vote redistricting. I feel like there's some dark areas here, but this is like the further out branches of this tree, so they get like a little bit spotty. And it's definitely like pretty dark underneath them, which makes sense. I've heard rats are like pretty popular pets. Like I know some people who have them. I don't have them myself. We did have them at my school. I might have talked about this on stream before, but I think it was just like for the kids to spend time with a living thing. Sort of like in the same zone, they had like heat lamps and like hatched like a half dozen chickens from egg. And so we got to see them sort of at the yellow and cute stage. Well, before the yellow and cute stage, the what's a baby chicken called? Um, chick. You could see them at the just hatch, like mucusy slime stage, and then proceed quickly to the like fluffy yellow and cute stage, and then oh my god, the awkward teenage years. So I think they were just teaching us a lesson about how strange our bodies were going to become, because all of a sudden the chicks like got tall, like their necks sprung out, and they just looked like vultures because there were no feathers on there yet. Anyway, I haven't thought about that in many years, uh, but it made quite an impression. Let me see. I think I'm at a point where I might put in the black mask and orange beak. I'll do the orange beak first. You know, I feel like I've been. Usually, I try to keep like a warm color brush and a cool color brush. We haven't even put any warm colors, like, well, except for these browns. Those are warm. But this is going to be probably like the warmest color, about like this guy. So I think I'm gonna paint this beak, eat this orange, and it'll just be like very thematic. Oh, Sparkle, your class did chickens from eggs too. It was cool. I do feel lucky that I currently do have chickens in my life. Like some friends of ours, a few blocks from here. Excuse me. They do keep chickens in the city of Providence. The limit is 4, and I think no roosters. So it is nice for it is nice for us to have like fresh eggs directly from a hen's butt, and we really do have to wash them off because they are covered in poop. But like so delicious. compared to store egg. Hmm. Perfect snack. Okay. So really, I think I'm just going to go straight in with this like orange directly from the tube. Well, I'll put it on my test sheet first, but yep, I don't think I need to make any alterations to that. Let's just get that right in there. I know, it's, I think I'm making progress. Like, I'm coming out of my shell. My shell where I eat snacks in private. Uh, wait, I forgot to put up my memes. I gotta put these up. So, like, Hayao Miyazaki is gonna have some advice for us. Okay. Um, I assume that he's referring to an orange. And then I've already had, well, let me have another bite. Mm, mm, mm. Wait, can you see the wink? Okay. Put away Iwara. Okay. Yeah, like you said, Sparkle, thank you, Miyazaki, for your wonderful anime films and also for your nutritional advice. Okay. Once I start clicking around, I lose my reference pick, but there it is. So let's see. It's orangest. It's the least orange at the tip. It's very orange where it connects to the rest of the swans. So I'm going to start back here. I'm going to bring this out. Oh man. I feel like my brush might be too loaded. You know what? That's too wet. I'm going to... might dab this off. Okay, good. I need to just unload my brush a bit. Because right now it was like... there was a good amount of pigment, but there was like just way too much water on the brush, so if I wasn't careful, it was going to splodge everywhere, like outside of the shape that I wanted. So now it's just like lots of pigment, very little water. Well, okay. And I don't have to paint the cygnet beaks, because those are dark gray. I think sometime in the teenage years, they get the orange color on there. Wait, let me see. Oh, your little nephew calls tangerines cuties circle oranges? Oh, that is very adorable. I feel like... well, Galuigi, how old is this nephew? Because I'm wondering about, like, shapes curriculum. He's turning 3. Okay, so, like, it wouldn't make sense to push him into cylinders and cones and spheres yet. Like, we do gotta set good groundwork with circle. I mean, I think since we were talking about, like, raising... I don't... when do kids learn about 3D shapes? I mean, I know in middle school, many kids love to draw 3D boxes on their notebook. Like, they learn to draw the square and kind of extend the lines backwards and then turn it into a cube and just like cover their notebooks in that. But I feel like you would know to call it something else. I know uh, like my wife and I both had kind of contentious relationships to schooling and shapes, because the worst name for a shape out of all of them is rectangular prism. Like, who's... like, that is not a helpful name. Like, her name is Kate. She says, that is a box, and that is a much better name for it. Rectangular prism, it's like too much. My own gripe about shapes, while we're airing this out. This is some pretty old stuff. This is some pretty deep difficulties, but um, my family moved when I was kind of kindergarten age. In my old school, we did the shapes we did, but when we got to the new school, part of the curriculum was semicircle, and I was not into it. The old school didn't do semicircle, the new one did. And I feel like it's okay as shapes go, but it's not up there with like triangle. And are we going to start doing semi other shapes? I don't know. So me and semicircles, we still need to work that out. Okay, so let's put in the dark mask part. Yeah, right? Yeah, thank you, Gal. Like, is a semi-triangle just another triangle? Perhaps trapezoid, depending on how you cut it? Okay. Right now I'm just trying to, same as I did when with the orange color, after I washed my brush out, there was just like way too much water on there. So I was just getting rid of it, and I'm loading up with this Payne's Gray to do the dark mask. Oh, thank you, Sparkle, for that framework of calling our good gripes valid concerns. Okay, here we go. Gonna put in, so it goes out to the side where the eye is, and then, so I think this is gonna help. Just with people watching the stream knowing what this is. Oh, Jaredong has entered the chat. Do I want to be Twitch famous? Oh no, is there a bot selling followers? I don't know. I think I'm okay with. I mean, do you want the funny answer or the real answer? I think the real answer is, uh, I prefer having the very high quality followers and chatters that I have now, rather than many. Okay, so let me see. While I've got this color, I'm gonna put in the eye on the Cygnet. That'll make their beaks very short, because I think that's also a sign of them being sort of young and cute. Let me see. Oh, we have a new follower. Let me just make sure that I get the right. I always do that backwards, but I think me and Rockley were out of sync there. Grimace, welcome to the chat. Or welcome to the stream. Yeah, for the new people joining, for the most part, for the first like 24 times I'd done these art streams, it was always black and white ink drawing, often of anime or US comic characters. Right now, I'm just trying to branch out a little bit and maybe offer something different once in a while. And this painting like this is not a skill that I especially have a lot of history with, but I'm hoping that practicing this live, that maybe the struggle could be like a little bit compelling to watch. We'll see. Oh, no need to be sorry for lurking. Like, I appreciate a chat, I appreciate a lurk, interface with the screen, this stream as works best for you. Oh, I totally neglected to put any of the plants down in this area. Let me just switch out my warm color brush for my cool color brush. Are there? The sparkles now lurking, can't see them. Oh, they unlurked. So I think this was my plant color, so I'm just going to pick this back up. Like, if there's any very experienced watercolorists in the stream, I would not mind and would in fact invite some backseating, like an informal stream coach. I know, like the first time I did a watercolor stream, Kathy G. Johnson showed up, and I was like, oh man, like gulp. Someone who's like really especially good at this is here, and I think I did okay. So the fix that I'm in, so Jared Ong is asking, do I paint Gal? No, Jared is asking Gal if Gal paints. Because the closest I got to painting Gal was, I think I did a watercolor stream a few weeks ago of Waluigi from Mario Tennis. But I haven't really attempted to do like portraits of people yet. I'm kind of working my way up to it. All right. I think an issue that I'm noticing in my own painting is like a lot of the areas are not really touching each other. So I really need to get in here and define the shape of this swan. Like I've been a little tentative. So I know it feels tough to take things back, but it won't be a successful painting if I don't like venture forth. And so I'm going to take some advice from Spike Spiegel of Cowboy Bebop and say, whatever happens, happens. I don't know if there are any like Bebop heads in the chat, but maybe somebody knows what that's translated from or what the original phrase would be. Oh, right. Mickey does have that like gamer portrait. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, usually on these streams, I try to be on for, excuse me, on these streams, I try to be on for like 2 or 3 hours. And I try to do it where it's like one stream, one drawing, or like one painting. So we'll start with a blank sheet, and by the time we're done, the painting is done. Like by the time the stream is over, we've got a complete image. So in a way, that's like a little bit freeing. That whatever happens with the image, like after a couple hours, it's done, and I'll always be moving on to the next thing. But during that time, I do want to be committed to making this the best swan I can. Okay. But it's also like good practice for me just in taking risks and not getting too precious with this. Or like if I make a mistake in this swan painting, which could well still happen, and that I'll just like solve whatever went wrong in the next one. All right, so I think that's helping a lot. I don't like. I was outlining the swan. Oops, no, no, no. Just as I was congratulating myself for that, I put a giant blob of water right where I didn't want it. Like I'm trying to offset this swan from the background, so I'm putting like a lot of dark area around it. And to me, it is defining the swan shape a little better. Like this is kind of a tough challenge because a lot of what I'm doing is not painting the main focus of the image because like I won't be doing it with white paint, I'll just be leaving it blank. Ma, naru yo ni naruka. I don't know. I don't speak Japanese. I should. Like my grandparents in Taiwan like primarily spoke Japanese and not Mandarin because they were there during the occupied part, or they grew up in the Japanese era in the first half of the last century. So I should have studied it. So thank you, Grimace, for that translation. And I'm actually I didn't say it at the time because I didn't uh, want to spook them, but I think like Grimace is like a really great comic artist. Like I've always enjoyed their mini comics, and I think one that I still have from years ago, I think Grimace gave to me at the Museum of Comics and Cartoon Art Festival in New York in like 2009, and I was tabling with Mickey Zakili, and it was like maybe a teenage romance comic with some maybe some crow themed motifs. I don't remember the name offhand, but I still have it. It's beautiful. So maybe after this pandemic time is over, we could go back to comic festivals because it's just such a wonderful culture, and to like receive things like that you know have an effect on you, and then you can say so 12 years later in a Twitch chat. Okay, so I think I do need to just I think I keep saying this. I just need to follow my own advice. Like this whole quadrant is like super dark. So I just got this. I'm picking it up, and I just need to get a lot of that on here, and hopefully it'll make the rest of the painting stand out more. Yeah, I hope so too, Grimace. Like I do hear that TCAF is on for 2022, which I'm not sure how I feel about that decision, given the current situation. But I think it's been a little while since I've tabled. Like I was at SPX a few years ago, and it was like me and Sophia at a table, and that was like wonderful. So Jared is asking, is paint hard because you can't erase mistakes? Um, I mean, like I've got this tissue, and I can like, for a limited amount of time, pick up whatever I just put down. Um, I think if I were to, like, what I could do is, like, even though, like, the reference photo is super small up there, I'm trying to point to it. Like, I can see that there's some, like, white parts on the water there, which I have not done. But I feel like if I I don't even know if this is going to work. So we're kind of in unknown territory here, but I'm going to try to see if I put this like white paint, if I can get enough on here. Like, will this work? I think it will. No? So that is good to know. This is, thank you, Jared. This is the kind of question we're trying to figure out together. If we can sort of like crowdsource this swan painting together. Like, wasn't there... I feel like the first time I heard about Twitch, maybe it was years ago, when it was like, I think there was a community event of like Twitch plays Pokemon, and people would just like type in the chat like left, up, or like A or B, and eventually they were able to like crowd, like as collectively like beat Pokemon Red or something. So this watercolor stream could be a little bit like that. People want to help me out with, oh man, this is working pretty well. People want to help me out with my brush strokes. Okay. Now I'm realizing that when Jared asked, I did tissue up all the dark pigment that I had just put down. So, I'm going to have to put that back in. Okay. So I was talking so much, I need to catch up with the chat. Gal wanted to know if Jared does art, but Jared said, no, they're a boring community organizer, social worker, and to me that does not sound boring at all. That does sound like a little bit of modesty on the part of Jared Ong. I guess, I don't know if this is like too serious of a question, but having been to some actions in the last however long amount of time, I feel like are there some complications with like taking photos at actions, like if people would worry about being identified or other concerns that they might have? Let's see. I feel like these cygnets are just like really poorly defined. So let me and do kind of a similar thing that I did with the main swan and get. And I'm mixing in the Payne's gray with this blue that I was using for the water, and I'm going to get a lot of this. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Jared. Like depending on your status, it could be like risky. But then, yeah, I guess I don't know. I mean, I assume that you've thought about this like a lot, and I'm kind of clumsily stumbling through this topic. But like, it seems like if you're doing an action, like it would make sense that you would want people to see it. So like some documentation would be good, but this is definitely like a very difficult topic that I think right now my mindset is just on like baby swans, and might be more than I can grapple with at the moment. Okay, I think this is coming together a little more. Like now, oh, that's true. Oh my God, Jared, I feel like there was like, I don't know if you do Instagram or anything, but there's always these like these participatory memes going around of like, post a picture like in January before pandemic began. And I think I just remember one of the last things that I had done here was attending like either like a city council meeting, or no, it was more like a state representative meeting. I forget what those are called. Maybe I just said it. But they were kind of deciding whether they should ban mask wearing at rallies, which in hindsight is, I'm kind of like laughing through my tears now that I think about it. Okay, so I think it's going to help me out. Like if I just want to like also bring some of these colors over here, because when people look at this painting, like the reference photo won't be there. And so I just need to, like, even if it's a departure, just make this satisfying to look at. I think it'll have more, what am I trying to say? I think it'll look better, but that's not like a great way to say it. I think it'll create more movement, more balance if this color isn't just sequestered over here. So I'm also going to like bring it down this way. And I think it'll just overall add some, what's the word, like harmony to the picture. You can also use this. Like there's all these, maybe that isn't the right color. Let me think. I just have to look carefully at what's happening. It looks like I haven't really addressed this part. And it appears to be mostly these kind of dry reeds or stems, and then some like dark water and shadow. I'm a little unclear on how well these cygnets appear. I'm gonna have to, so that's on my to-do list. Address this, and then I'm gonna go back and address these guys. So I need to put in some more water, and it's mostly pretty dark around here. Let's see. Do need to like leave some room for these plants, because there's definitely like a lot of white paper coming through here, but there's not, like looking at the image, there's not like a lot of white coming through. I am reluctant to close everything up, but I may need to. I'm kind of like, one thing with images that I always try to think about is like, how am I, like when a viewer looks at this, like what am I doing to like direct their eye around the image? And I feel like there's like these strong lines here, and there's kind of like there's like this kind of arching composition. Then a lot of this stuff down here is very kind of noisy in its shape. Like when your eye is here, like where does it go? There's just all these dabs of green. Down here, kind of haven't really established any shapes or directions yet. Oh, Sparkle, thank you for saying you love this painting. That's very nice of you. I always, it's tricky with art streaming because like you only get to see the finished painting for the final like minute. Like it would be great if like a cooking show, they always have like the finished dish like ready. Then like they say we're gonna make this today, but like this is the only painting that exists, and so we can kind of just gradually see it come in. Yeah, exactly. Here's one I made earlier. But I don't know, I feel like it would make less compelling viewing if I was like, if I did that and I had like an already made swan painting with all the problems solved. Because like for me, the interesting part is just like uh, figuring out even how to do this. Yeah, I think I'm closing up some of these white areas because we are talking about like directing the eye, and I feel like if there's white here, that a person will go directly to that. Let's see. Now that I'm in here, I can put in some darker lines. Let me just I'm just switching brushes, so I need to get over here. Okay, so gonna grab. Wait, I had my palette upside down, so I got disoriented. Gonna grab some of these like browns that I have. There's like some burnt umber and like sienna, and mix those up in this mixing tray. Add a little bit of the Payne's Gray just to make it darker. I think I'm gonna just pull a bunch of lines across here. And I might, kind of similar to what I did with, like I added some white paint up here, which I think I've now obliterated, but there's going to be always like some back and forth on here. I might try to add like another, like I'm doing this kind of brownish line, but I might add like another white line right on top of it for the highlight. I don't know. We can see. I think this is also, like I was saying before, like when I'm doing this reed color, it's also a good opportunity to paint some detail on the cygnets, because it makes sense that they match for like defensive coloring. It's really hard to get across that this cygnet has its head underwater. Like right now, it just looks sort of like a round, feathery shape. But I feel like from the context clues, a person could figure out what is happening using their understanding of how waterfowl live. Yeah, I think. Okay, let me catch up on the chat. So Gal said, I like staying and seeing everything from beginning to end. Thank you, Gal. And related to swans and art, gaming Twitch, there's a game called Unfinished Swan. It's pretty cute. And in the game, you paint around a blank canvas world and kind of solve light puzzles trying to chase a swan. I mean, that feels exactly like what we're doing here, like starting with a blank canvas and trying to chase down this swan. Oh, and Spider Baby's in the chat. Nice to see you. It uh, it always feels very funny to chat on Twitch, given like how geographically nearby we are. Oh, good day to you, Spider Babby. Are you going to be doing some Dark Souls today? Yeah, I think I would encourage you to go to my window and peep at me. Like for this window behind me, you would need a ladder. Okay, so I think um, it's kind of like a nice time on this brush because I've been painting these, and as I go, I did some on here. I haven't reloaded it yet, so it's sort of drying out. It's sort of running low on pigment, but that's great because now I can do this kind of subtle stuff that's on the swan itself. I think just before Omicron variant,
Who goes there?
uh, Cool Dog had a really wonderful breakfast at their place, and so that was maybe the last time we got to hang out in person, apart from the um, gamepad handovers. Oh, that would be amazing. Oh, so Spider Babby's saying we could co-host a stream. Oh, it'd be amazing to have like a triple host stream, kind of joining to form like a stream Voltron, or like stream primary colors joining to form uh, total black. Let's see. Wait, whose birthday is it? Well, would our different vibes would they cancel out and it would just be a very lukewarm stream, or would they combust? I know that it's Zoetrope's birthday, and so if they show up in the chat, I'm planning to sing to them. So like I'm kind of I feel like largely in like paint and especially in watercolor, I'm trying to like achieve forms by putting colors next to colors, putting light areas next to dark areas, and trying not to, accomplish things with outlining too much. But I am just going to make a little bit of an exception to let people know that these are cygnets, that they're not just like rocks on the water. So I am kind of taking a little bit of like a drawing approach to these guys and just putting in a little faint outline. Okay. Well, I mean, Mickey, if you want to do like a co-drawing stream, there's definitely room where we could both get on this camera, or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we could each be in our own streaming station and then do a split screen. I don't know. We could figure out the technical parts, but I would be down. Oh, you know what would be really fun? Would be like if we did like timed drawings. Like I could have this 5-minute timer. I'm just spitballing ideas here. And like we would start the timer and chat would like give suggestions about what we could draw. And then like we would each have like that amount of time to complete whatever it was. And then we would compare notes. I mean, it doesn't have to be a competition unless you want it to be. But I think it would be a fun time in any case. Oh, everything's a competition. It's true. Yeah, I really like this one a lot. I think I just got it to help me like focus. Like, for the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I'm going to do whatever this task is and put aside whatever it is. Oh, for my 100 follower giveaway, consider giving away the timer. Oh my god. Oh, you know what? I haven't had like a commemoration because we did just pass the century mark for followers. Like we broke into 3 digits, my guys. Like I don't have a one woman musical to do the way Gal does. let's see, what was I mixing up this color for? I think this is more of the like gray brownish color, which I don't actually want right now. Maybe I'll give a little bit, see what happens. Yeah, I don't want that color. Let me just rinse my brush out. What I am gonna do is, I feel like there's some blue reflected light on the swan, so I'm going to get like some of this color, make sure that it's like pretty watered down. Because I see there's definitely blue like along this part of the wing. And then like under here, kind of on top of here. Let's see. Let's see. Oh man, the chat is going wild. I have to catch. I was paying attention to my swan. See, Gal is Rod's media manager. Oh, I'd be glad to have a media manager, and if it was Gal, that would be ideal. I'm just trying to catch up. Everyone's chatting too fast. Where did I get the timer though? I think from online store owner of Twitch and Whole Foods Incorporated. Oh, great sunglasses dolphin emoji. Did you see that? Mickey, or Spider Babby, did you see when you do emotes that they show up kind of bouncing in this face cam area? Let's see. Oh, let's see. Someone's getting dunked. Oh no, did management hurt their friendship with Rod? So maybe we could pass on the management. Did they show up? Okay, because I can only look at one place at once. So let me see. Let me just get back to painting. Get some blue down here, close to the water, the chest area. I feel like I want to get rid of some of these pencil lines now that we're like a little better defined. On my first few watercolors, I was like terrified to bring the eraser in because I was like, it'll just tear the paper to shreds, but it appears that it's pretty sturdy. It's like standing up to this friction. Okay. Oh, looks like we have a first-time chat from Thurston Falco. Thanks for joining us. Oh, thanks for all those dunks, Mickey. It is, I mean, I have to say, and I'm not the first one to say this, but the dunk, oh, I saw one right there. Like the dunk is the most electrifying event in professional sports. Like when someone dunks that ball, I'm actually jealous of my baby cousin in Taiwan. Like I'm the way that I am, but my cousins there are extremely cool. Like they work as interior designers for like so I'm gonna put that story on pause to answer Gal's question. Is basketball my favorite sport? It is tied for my favorite sport. Oh, look at Pichu. Right? I really want to catch those as they go by. So basketball is tied as my favorite professional sport. So basketball, and the other one is MotoGP. I think GP stands for Grand Prix, and it's like professional motorcycle racing. and it's extremely cool, and it's very romantic. Takes place at racing circuits all around the world, Grand Prix, uh, with very cool riders, mostly from Italy and Spain, because I think it's like popular enough there that people literally start riding at like age 3 on like mini bikes. So just all these cool European and Japanese dudes in like skin tight leather suits going like 200 miles an hour around a circuit. And like the presentation of it is like so wonderful. Like the way like the announcers talk, like they have to do interviews before and after every session, and some people get sick of it. But it's sort of like they present everyone as having like sort of like one strong personality trait. So it's also like as the championship season goes on, it's like very soap opera ish. It's thrilling to watch. Okay, so thank you for asking, and I totally forgot what the other thing I was going to say was. It's probably just as well. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I, I still need to darken this part. I've noticed like when it dries, it does seem to get lighter. So however dark I think I'm making it, it's always going to be like a little step back from that. Oh, my cool cousins, my Taiwanese cool cousins who do interior design and are like wonderful basketball players. Um, like me personally, I never broke the 6 foot barrier. I got close, but they're well beyond it. And oh, I think that's how I got to the story is that they dunk basketballs, and it was just like so like cool, like being in Taipei, and they would like take me out to the neighborhood court, and it's just like filled with like people playing. Do I say I'm 6 feet on Tinder? Well, I don't say anything on Tinder because I do not have that app. I have like swiped in real life the direction that I'm going to swipe on my person, and like it. I mean, it makes me happy just to like brag on my cousins because they're like so stylish. Like they definitely have that fashion that I think people called like sports goth, like lots of all black clothing, maybe some logos worn upside down or backwards, kind of like a little high tech, but also a little spooky. Anyway, I don't want to get like too distracted from Swan Talk. Yeah, maybe I could. I don't know if I have access to pictures of them right at this moment. Maybe in the Discord. Oh, because I just added. If you guys want to join my Discord, I'm gonna type that in. So there's the James Kuo Draws Discord, which is different parentheses from the Mickey Michael Stream Discord. It's called the Quorum, um, which is the number of people you need to have a meeting made valid. And so you guys being here make those meetings very valid. Anyway, where I was going with that is there's like a new section on that Discord that's like Taiwan culture. And so I feel like I could put in a couple cousin photos in there because, all of us, we're a culture. We are. Oh, so Jared is saying that 125 followers, that I should do a medley of La La Land songs. Let's see. because I still have yet to see La La Land, and I remember there was like the Oscar controversy where they were, mistakenly announced as Best Picture, and I was always on like uh, Team Moonlight. But it doesn't really make sense. Like just because I prefer Moonlight as a film, it doesn't mean that I have to hate on La La Land. Like it's not like because one is good, the other has to be bad, or like in order to win, someone else has to lose, right? Oh wait, oh Mickey walked or Spider Babby walked out of La La Land. I don't know if I've ever walked out of a movie. It, so when you say hot guy, you're referring to Ryan Gosling. I was about to say that that was almost like thematic for this stream, but um, then I remembered that these were Cygnets instead of Goslings. Oh, I did at the top of the stream. Um, I had like an example painting. Like, this is one I had done previously of like if you go to Roger Williams Park in our fine city of Providence, there's a family of greylag geese that live at the southern end, and Kate and I have been watching them with great interest. So at first there were two, and then they had this uh, this baby, I guess, gosling, and then um, it was kind of amazing because this goose like went off to goose college. Like he went to the other part of the park and he like lived with all the Canada geese for like a whole year before eventually coming home to live with their greylag parents. Oh, Mickey's referring to my illuminated duck lamp. God, do I have my? I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to show people the lamp, but um, yeah. So Mickey's talking about this ancient mini comic, which was called Archaeology, but is now Archaeology itself because it is from 2009. My God. And so like this comic is like the sort of thing that I used to make. Um, oh, there it is. It's right on the back. Like there was a certain like vintage goose lamp that was in like a family home that I kind of greatly enjoyed. And I think the story behind this comic, well, you see, I'm putting my thumb over a name that I used to have. A few, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I got a legal name change. Um, I switched over to use my mother's name to reflect my Taiwanese heritage. And before that, I had had a different name. But I'm not going to show that on stream. But yeah, this was just about kind of helping pack up the house that I grew up in. So a lot of these scenes were just like of my home in St. Louis. And God, I haven't looked at this in years. But yeah, these are all just like ink drawings. And I was really into doing like one panel on a page. And man, this stuff, this is like, sometimes I feel like this seems so different than the kind of stuff I draw now, but I feel like I can sense some continuity with it. I think the idea behind I cut this book with do you know Mark Todd and Esther Pearl Watson? They did a whole book called What Do You Mean, What's a Zine? And they asked me to do a whole like comic format tutorial on how to make these guys. the thinking behind this was, I think there was like sort of a false dichotomy that I fell into in the mid 2000s, the early to mid 2000s. Because I was always doing like paper mini comics and like trading them with P.O. boxes and that whole thing. And I probably felt threatened by webcomics. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a kind of a book that you cannot experience online, that you can only read this comic if you're holding it. And like holding this little thing will like change your perception of reading it, because it does have a lot of physicality to it. So Thurston Falco is saying power move, but it's also, it might have been like professionally shooting myself in the foot by keeping most of my stuff offline. And these were so like labor intensive to make. Like really, I would only get to make like 100 of them. And do you see my enjoyment of wordplay there? Both the binding is meant to please people, and by reading this comic, surely people will be pleased. Oh ho ho, oh ho ho. So anyway, thank you, Mickey, for bringing us onto that tangent. And there's the goose. So I'm putting this away. So actually having that kind of, you wish to have that little book says Piss Hospital, but really I just have, like all those years I did mini comics, I kind of have, like they're in this Onitsuka Tiger shoebox, because I'm really down to like one copy of each. Because I think like the other part of that mini comic era was just like, you know, giving them to your friends, or like, you know, pricing things as low as possible. Like I think if you were here earlier in the stream, there was kind of a wonderful moment with Grimace where I was like, oh, Grimace, you know, thanks for being in the chat. You know, I think, you know, your mini comics are wonderful, and I still have this one from 2009 Mocha when Mickey and I were tabling together in New York. And I still have it, and it was like kind of bringing a tear to all of our eyes, bringing multiple tears to our multiple eyes, not just one tear. You can put this away. Do not Google. So are people saying? Wait, who's? So Mickey is something of a lore master. I feel like I've known Mickey at least since 05-ish, because we had, with our mutual friend, Mike Taylor, we had like a drawing lock-in at the old space on Westminster Street, which is now an AS220 extension. But we had like an overnight draw-a-thon. I don't know if you remember that, Mickey. I feel like if I thought deeply enough about it, I could recall exactly like the drawings that we did. But I think that was the first time that I met you, and it was great. Also the same night, I think Eli and Marilee stopped by. And so that was the first time I got to meet those wonderful, formerly Providence, now New York people. Are we... Oh, Spider Babby, are you trying to put a link in the chat? Because I think I had that disabled because I was having bot trouble. So let me try to put that in. www.it'shichrismukai.com. Okay. Hopefully that goes to the right site. Looks like it worked. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it was 24. It was kind of like a sleepover without sleeping, with like drawing instead of sleeping. Okay. Well, let me see if I can get. let's bring up Hi Chris Mackay onto my window capture. This is always what I have the most trouble with. Here we go. Grimace, do you wish for me not to show this? Speak up in chat, because I would like, I think your art is wonderful. I want to show it off, but if you feel like this is not the time, okay. So here's Chris Mackay's portfolio site. Look at these animals. Oh my God. Wait, how do I? Okay. So everyone should go bookmark that. Hit up this web shop. Lovely. I think I have more than, I have many of these. I definitely have Distant Flower. I feel like I have, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go look through all this later, but let's turn that off for now. Thanks for sharing, Chris and Mickey. Let's see. Oh, is there chat gossip going on? I'm glad, I'm really glad to provide the space where people can come and gossip, because really that is the dream. Like I saw Gal added a hand-holding channel in their Discord, which has been a lot of fun to read about Zoe's dates. Okay, so what do I need to do on this? These greens need to be more intense. I was making sure to leave a lot of white area up here for the reflections, but there's not as many reflections as I think there are. Like, that would be awfully bright. I need to make this darker. Largely, I think the forms are in place. I just need to, like, plump them up a bit. Okay. Wait, oh, the chat is all talking about crushes. Luckily, I myself am immune to crushes and crushing, as I have taken care of my crush for all the years ahead. So, no crushes allowed in this direction. Let's see, we're at, okay, we just crossed the 2-hour mark. I feel like this is like a really fun stream. I feel like I could just stay on and gossip forever, but we might be kind of in the final act, or like I think we're getting definitely towards the back end of the stream. I feel like a lot of this painting is pretty well established. I'm just kind of going over it to make things look a little more the way I want them to. So we're sort of at a place where I could, like, call it done at any time. It's not time to end yet, but I do want to just see for the future who's on, so we could bring this party over somewhere else. Okay. Oh, that, I'm really happy with how this is really, I don't know, how do I talk about this? Like, how this is really like punching up these leaves, like having these more intense green areas are really kind of adding some I think, dimension to this like bunch of plants. I think they're a little bit too evenly spaced out, and it looks. I'm just gonna have to change the spacing, but I feel like it's like the leaves that I painted first. It's sending those back because those are a little bit lighter. Definitely need some heavier greens down here. Let's see. Oh, okay, so Gal and Spider Babby are both crushing on characters from the Mushroom Kingdom. Or wait, is Bowser technically Mushroom Kingdom? Is his domain a different political entity? So, Spider Babby, do you have more of a crush on Bowser or Bowsette? And feel free not to answer if that's too personal. I'm just like darkening up this area some more. Like another thing that I'm trying to figure out about art streaming is like drawing the picture kind of tells a story. And with something like this, I feel like a lot of the action is in the first half. Like when we're kind of establishing things and getting everything where it goes. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to watch these. I watch a lot of other people's. And I do, I watch my VODs back because I want to, see what I could be doing better to make this a good experience. But sometimes it's kind of hard to, I don't know, see yourself or like understand what you're looking at. Okay, let's see. Oh wait, I'm seeing. Oh, okay. So Automod is being very aggressive. Let's see. So Spider Babby, I'm going to deny one and allow the other because I do know that there are actual children who watch this stream. So I do. I do try to keep it a little wholesome on purpose. Oh, you know what? Actually, on that very topic, my in this house, usually instead of the B word that Spider Babby just used, we do say swan, like in place of that. So like any phrase where you would say B word, you could say swan, like swan please, or any variation on that. Okay, where is my reference? Okay, so I feel like I've been avoiding getting any color on the swan. Where's my brush? Right here. But I could get in here and do a little bit more feathering on him or her. I feel like it's pretty tough to tell like a swan gender by just looking. Let's see. I think on this bottom edge, I'm going to just do these lines coming in. Oh, I think this is working out well. Like when it goes on top of that blue wash, I think a nice thing is happening. So this is the sort of thing that I'm trying to like take notes about. Yeah, swan, please. Like, that's like if I got to enter a new phrase into the lexicon, that would be it. Oh, Mickey, I think after Gogeta showed up in your chat, I think it was not long before I muted or blocked whoever they were, just because it seemed too chaotic for me. So I think that means we won't be seeing Gogeta come around here, but because they should not be able to find this stream. Right. Oh, do you think Gogeta only follows one account and it's twitch.tv/SpiderBabby? This tail looks really vague. I just want to like pin down what I mean here. Hmm. Oh, Thurston, thank you for the fusion. Your logic is very sound. Let's see. Man, I'm just really. I keep holding myself back from darkening this part, but I think now's the time to just really go for it. I'll just bring this even closer to where I'm going so there's less travel. So now I think I'm just going to get in here and paint in all the darkest stuff. Definitely some dark area under the front part here. Dark under there. Definitely lots of shadows under these plants. Let's see. Oh, P Hospital says that they love the swanlets. Thank you. I'm trying to figure out. I don't know how hard it is to tell what they are. But I think what I'm doing now, I'm just trying to like get these swans to stand out more. Let me see. There's definitely like a dark space all the way under here, over the head of this little guy. And I could also fill in more of this blue area. Yeah, also, I think this lamp that I have is, since this area is so wet, there's like a lot of glare. So let me just reposition this. I was about to say to better reflect what's on the paper, but I want it to reflect worse. Hardy har har. Okay, great. Now it reflects worse. All right. Uh, Spider Baby, we're having so many like age reveals on this stream. Like earlier, we were talking about what my Chinese zodiac was, and I revealed that it is monkey. My other hand isn't free to scratch with. We did an age reveal, yeah. So people had to like logically figure out, since they're 12 years apart, it was like, was I born in 2016, which would be great, 2004, 92, 80, or 68? And we eventually got to the answer, which I'm not going to re-reveal in this moment. People can check out the VOD if they really must know. Okay. Cool Dog, it is not 1992. And I'm just going to get some of this, like, I'm bringing some of this water. I almost got tied up because like the watercolor of this watercolor, the color of this water, I'm bringing down here just to like show in between these plants. I'm gonna like wash it over this part. If this is getting pretty muddy over here, which it is, I am going to try to go back over it with white highlights. Yeah, I think this is helping. Like I just wanted to like tie together better, not just have like separate areas. Because I'm trying to create the impression that they're all part of the same scene, kind of like lit together, and that like light is reflecting and bouncing off of everything. So it might behoove me to add like a little blue color to the goslings. Swan already has some blue. Oh, so people are discussing who is more scared, you or the horse. Grimace maintains the horse is scared of you. I feel like I so rarely get to have contact with a horse. I'm definitely a big fan of Lisa Hanawalt's horse that she posts all the time, and if I had a horse, I would definitely post it. I feel like the only horses that I get to see are in the same park where this swan is, and the same park where this goose is found, because I think there's the stable for the like Providence police horses. It's nice to admire the horses because they didn't really ask to enlist in that line of work. Oh man, I think if anyone is good at drawing horses, I am extremely impressed by it. I am not yet impressed by my own horse. Maybe that'll be a good challenge for me, like horse stream. I heard years ago, I heard a wonderful interview with Squiddy Bay, also known as JT, talking about, I think someone was talking about the process of doing editorial illustration. And someone was asking Squiddy, so Squiddy, um, like you get the briefing from an editor, like what do you do next? And Squiddy was saying, I do my research, I sketch out my concepts, maybe like send the editor like a few versions. And so the person was like, okay. So let's say, Squiddy Bay, that you were to get an assignment from Horses Magazine. And I'll never forget Squiddy just being like, well, if it's Horses Magazine, that's a different story. Because they could totally just skip the research stage, being someone who's an expert drawer of horses. Let's see. Okay, so what was I going to do? I was going to put some white over this part. Right now I'm just trying to like incorporate these different areas. So I'm getting some blue over here, getting some blue down here. I already brought this gray like down into these leaves. I mean, right now I'm kind of just picking at it because I'm enjoying being on so much. Let's see. I think about once an hour, and we're past like 2:20. I am going to have the rest of my stream snack, which is this little orange. And usually the procedure is, at first when I started the streaming, I would always cover up my face cam. Like, let's see. Like I would always do that. But now it's okay. Okay, like we've got this advice from Miyazaki. I'm just gonna have these orange bits. Mm. And then I have to put up this one. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a Squiddy link in chat. And all I did was search Jillian Tamaki horse. And what comes up is very nice. I'm always like a little nervous about upstaging myself on the stream, but it's good. Like I know that Squiddy is a wonderful artist, like really one of the best. Kind of the queen. And my paintings are okay. But I'm never reluctant to like give props to another artist. Like when I started doing these, I think together we looked at a lot of like Little Thunder paintings because I was like, man, this watercolorist is so amazing. This is what we're trying to learn from. So yeah, like Spider Babby is saying, Jillian is the best. Now, oh my god, I kept painting when I had my Yawara meme up. Okay, so we're back to the swan. Right now, I'm just picking up a lot of this white, taking it directly from the tube. Not directly from the tube to the palette to the brush, but not mixing it with anything. I'm just like painting in some reflected light, even though I think the way I was doing it, I was kind of spacing it out too evenly, when really it's kind of like I need to describe these gaps in the tree that's reflecting. So there's more of a gap here. And I definitely feel like this like white watercolor paint has a different visual quality than the paper itself coming through. Okay. I even want to, what will happen if I paint this onto the goslings? I think I don't want that. And yet I'm still painting it on there. Okay. Guys, I think we're pretty close to done. I think it might be that time. Oh, I said I was going to put some highlights over these reeds or branches. That should be the final thing. Okay. Phew. What do we think? You know, that top left of the painting is just never dark enough for me. Like, I put more pigment down, then it dries, and then it looks light again. What can a person do? What can a person do? Thank you, Sparkle, for saying it's great. Thank you, Gal, for saying so good. I mean, if any of you are contemplating doing your own art streams, I highly recommend it. Because very darling people come on and say nice things about the thing you're working on, which is wonderful of them to do. Oh, Sparkle might do a ceramic stream. I hope that you do that. Okay, so this is always like, I feel like a lot of the watercolor, the way that I've tried to learn to do this is just like watching speed paint like reels on Instagram where it's just like people splashing colors around and then it like all comes together in like 15 seconds. But the exciting part of those is at the end when they pull the tape off. So we're going to do that and I'm going to sign it. And then we're going to go figure out somewhere to raid. So if people have some raid suggestions, you could type those into chat. So it is tape pulling time. Oh, you know, this tape pulled off a little bit of the paper there, so I just have to be more careful. Pull slowly away. I was just like ripping it off here, so. Here we go. Trying to read the chat while I simultaneously pull tape. Yeah, Piss, do you want to just type the add-in for your tattoo Insta? Okay. I feel like it's going to change what the painting looks like because this blue is like such a bold color. Like it was competing with what was on the canvas. Maybe I should use this more neutral tape next time. Oh, Leon's here. Thank you for the cheer. Let me take away the reference so you can really just see the whole painting.
All right, let's go.
Thank you so much, Leon, for those bits. Okay. I think this was maybe the most fun chat we've had on the stream. I hope that people watching had a fun time, and we'll come back again. I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze a stream in tomorrow. I might be able to get one in the afternoon. I have to see how some personal timing works out. But here is the swan parade. I hope that they are wonder swans. Oh, we got one right there. Did you see how that wordplay with our swan named friends? Okay, so let's go to my chat screen. So here's me. Here's the painting. There it is on a different camera. Wait, Gal's saying, wait a second. What are we wait? What would you like us to wait for? Okay, so I'm going to make a final decision on this raid, and let's see. Oh, do I think of them as Wonder Bee and Bee Parade? I think I. Great question, Gal. I hadn't before, but I might now. So I saw. So, Gal, you had recommended Bingen Games and RubeTube on. I'm not familiar with those, but I will trust the recommendation. And I'm just going to go with Rube. So this will be a new experience for me. Raid. Nope. Nope. I don't want to raid a Google image search of Jillian Tamaki horse. That was still on my clipboard. Let me see if I can type this again. REUBTUBE. RUBTUBE. Okay, so I typed it in. I'm entering it. Looks like we're going there in 7, 6. Thank you so much for being here. Please follow. Come back next time. We'll paint some more. It'll be fun. Bye-bye.